So I just sent some photos. I think we're posting them up now. If you happen to be watching us right now, I want you just to see these photos. These are the things that we just took along the way. Now this is Donald Trump and I. We're downstairs where the tours go, and he's got the picture. And you saw this maybe if you follow the White House, their X or Instagram. It's a painting of Laura Bush and Hillary Clinton, and he's got a picture of him almost like a warrior with warrior paint on his face in between. And my favorite picture is the one that follows it, and it is this one, because he's turning around and he's buttoning his coat. And we're going to take a picture together, and he's turning around. He goes, "It's driving them out of their minds." And I'm just laughing because I'm like, this guy is just trolling, non-stop trolling. I love this. It's driving them crazy, and they have no idea that he's trolling them.
It seems like he's got a lot of important things to do, and this is where he gets his joy.
It is. It is.
Just screwing with the media.
It is.
It's like what makes him happy outside of his actual hard work.
It takes him 20 seconds walking down a hall and going, you know what? You know that painting of me with the war paint, put it between. That's all it took.
Right.
That's all it took.
Has caused multiple news stories to be written and viral reaction and everything else.
Now here's a picture of the two of us, Matanya and I, sitting at the desk in front of the president, and the president is telling us about all of the paintings that he just hung up. Everything that the New York Times says, he wants to be a dictator. He's explaining it to me. He was important to him because I think he knew I would understand, and he is explaining, this is why I'm doing all of this stuff. And he has just said, you see the painting of George Washington behind there? That hasn't been seen since Reagan, yada, yada, yada. And that's Tanya and I looking back at the painting. This is me standing as he's talking about the Declaration of Independence. This is me standing in front of the Declaration of Independence, just reading it and looking at it. It's in pristine condition. Now, if you want to be a dictator, why would you put that right next to your desk? Why?
It's the ultimate non-dictator document.
Yes.
Right?
Here's
anti-dictator.
Next one is Tanya and I looking up at another painting as he's telling us about it. This is the two of us on the back patio as we're walking out. He's taking us someplace, and he walks out and he's like, let me tell you about the Jackie. Because as we pass it, I said, this place pisses me off every time. And he said, what do you mean? The Rose Garden? And I said, it pisses me off every single time. And he said, why? And I said, because of what they did to Melania. All they did was bash her and say how she wrecked the Rose Garden when she took the original plans from Jackie O and restored the garden exactly the same way. And he just looked at me and he goes, I don't even understand it. I said, they just hate. They just hate it. The facts don't matter. And then he starts telling me some other things that are coming. And I'm like, okay, that's going to be fun. It's going to be fun to watch.
I had horrible pain in my hands. I had a hard time moving them. I could barely work with them. I couldn't write or type or anything. I tried everything. Then I found Relief Factor. Relief Factor is a 100% drug-free supplement developed by doctors, and it's safe to take daily. It made a real impact for me and so many others. Try their 3-week quick start now, $19.95 at relieffactor.com.
This is a picture. The next one is a picture of us down in, I'm not sure which one this is, maybe the yellow room down towards the basement. And we were downstairs, we were going by the library, and he was talking about stuff, and he's like, oh, I got to show you this. He's exactly like I am when I get over to the museum. His head would explode if he came over to the museum. His head would explode. The two of us would just... because he's exactly like I am. When I get to a tour over the museum, nobody can stop me. Everybody's like, Glenn, you've got all these. And I'm like, yeah, wait just a minute. And I'm so excited to share all of history. That's what he is doing. He's not boasting. He's so excited to show American history. And we walked into this room, and he was like, "Oh, you got to see this painting." And this is where I understood he really knows art. He's like, "You got to see this painting." And he comes in, all these beautiful paintings. And this is the room where, before he talks about the painting, I said, "Let me ask you something, Mr. President. I know you're Donald J. Trump, but," and he stopped me. And I was kind of frustrated because he was like, "Oh, absolutely." And I thought, he doesn't know what I'm going to ask. He did know. I said, "What do you mean?" And he said, "Every day I get up and I think, I can't believe I'm allowed in this house. I can't believe I'm in this house." So you want to talk about humble? Does that sound like a dictator? Does that sound like a dictator, New York Times? So he goes in and he's like, "Look at this painting." And it's the painting of Jackie O. It is stunning, this painting of Jackie O. And this is us in that room. Now, do any of those things sound like a dictator? Any of them? Any of them? I have to tell you, I didn't sign a non-disclosure on one thing but I out of respect for him, I'm not going to say it until I get permission from somebody at the White House. And I know he's on his way to Rome today to go pay his respects to the Pope. But I can't, I want to show, because I have the photographic evidence of something that will blow your mind about this guy. And I know if I ask, they're going to say, "No, please don't. Please don't." But I have it, and they don't know I have it, and they didn't make me sign a confidence. It was captured during a moment while we were filming, so I have the right to do it, but I want to do it so badly, but I'm not going to, out of respect for him. But I know he's going to say, "No, you can't show that." But I have to tell you, we airbrushed something out of a photo that has been released. My wife caught it, and she's like, "Did you see this?" And I'm like, "No." And she's like, "Look at this." And it stopped everybody in their tracks, and they're like, "Holy cow, what?" And it tells you everything you need to know about this guy. And out of courtesy, we have airbrushed it. And I got to tell you, if he won't allow me to talk about it at some point when he's no longer the president, I am going to tell you about it, because it tells you everything about who this guy truly is, who he truly is. And I know it, and I know why I was there, because I know who he was meeting with just about an hour later. And who he was meeting with were veterans, and those veterans, the guy who was actually leading that. We were leaving the Roosevelt room, and coming into the Roosevelt room was Tim Kennedy, and he had a whole bunch of veterans with him. And you might have seen the video of him with the veterans where they're taking off their prosthetics and putting them on his desk, and he's signing their prosthetics. And I just know who he is. I know who he is.
Oh, we are so close to getting this information. This is not going to even take a month.
I'm not even close.
One day after he came back.
Not even close to telling you what I know from
You've
upstairs.
Already walked us down the whole hallway. All you have to do is open the door. You're all the way down there. This is,
Nope,
right.
I won't.
Like, that was torture. You built up this great story, and then you don't tell us the story.
Well, it is torture because that one I don't have a non-disclosure on. That one is free game. But out of respect, I don't want to say, because I know him. No, please don't. And I'm telling you, that one, I'm going to either be on the phone with him or face to face and say, "You've got to let me tell that story."
Is it that he wants to be a dictator? Does he have a king? Does he have a king's crown? Is that what he has?
All right, I give. Mm-hmm. He has a guillotine in his pocket.
A pocket guillotine?
In his pocket, wow. Yes. For little teeny heads. Because all of the people that are overeducated, and at the New York Times, they have little teeny heads. And so he's got a little teeny head guillotine that he carries around with him all the time.
I knew that's who he was.
Right. Mm-hmm. Oh, God.
Be in the New York Times in the next 15 minutes, I'm sure.
So let's see. Here's something. Search warrant applicants or applications show that federal investigators knew for years about the millions of dollars flowing to Joe Biden's son from Ukraine, China, Romania, and elsewhere. newly unredacted IRS and FBI search warrants tied to the federal investigation into Hunter Biden provides new details of the information that investigators had in their possession about President Joe Biden's son's business deals linked to Ukraine, China, and elsewhere. Multiple search warrant applications were released, with only some redactions remaining late Tuesday following an agreement between Hunter Biden's legal team and the Justice Department. The government has conferred with subject matter experts within the Department of Justice and counsel to Mr. Biden. The parties agree search warrant applications and affidavits at issue may be unsealed with limited redactions, according to the acting U.S. Attorney for Delaware. She added, the government proposes and counsel for Mr. Biden does not object to limited redactions to protect specific privacy and grand jury secrecy interests. So it's showing now, again, how the government, and this is the thing that I will pound him on a year from now. If we don't have arrest warrants for people who did this, I will pound him on this. And I told him, it means nothing. It means nothing. We change everything, but you do it all through executive order. And you don't clean out the Justice Department. You don't clean out the FBI. You don't clean out Intel. It means nothing because all that deep state they'll just come back. They'll just come back. And he knows it. And he's like, be patient, be patient, be patient. And I'll be patient, but not to the point to where nothing happens. Because if he loses the next election, God forbid, all of this stuff comes back. And it's got to be prosecuted. You know, you want to go after Hunter Biden, go after Hunter Biden. That's fine. Who was it? Who was it that hid all of this stuff? I want to know who was it that hid that we had a vegetable for a president who couldn't do anything. That put our country at risk. I want them in jail. And I don't want them in jail through the dictate of a king. I want a fair, honest trial. I don't want any, quote, trumped up information. I want a real, actual trial based on the Constitution and the facts. And if anyone broke the law, I don't care what party they're from. I want them in jail. That's the only way we save our country. Now, one last thing. I don't know if you saw what made the chief data analysis of CNN go, holy cow. But the Democratic leaders in Congress, they keep saying, Donald Trump is having some low numbers. He's having some low numbers, especially when it comes to the economy. All right. The belief that the American people had that the Democrats would do the right thing in Congress for when it comes to the economy. Last year, it was at 80%. Now that number is 39%. That is the lowest number by far in the history of Gallup polling. The lowest previous was 60%. Houston, I think we have a problem. They're about to suffocate in space. They have no idea. This is why Chuck Schumer bailed and said, no, we're not going to close down the government. And why we should have stood and said, no, go ahead. Shut the government down, Chucky. Shut it down. Congress, it's not the day to piss me off. Congress, get back to work. Get back to work. Fix the nation. Work with the president. Pass the tax cuts. Real tax cuts. Pass pass the REINS Act. You won't have to do anything. You just pass the REINS Act. You know why you won't? Because it makes you do your job again. That's why you won't, you weasels.